Today I'm going to be looking at the track 6 Bells Chime by Crime and the City Solution. Perhaps something of an obscure track, but that's why you come here. And I'm going to start off by having a play through, then I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the song and I'm going to teach you how to play it. So super fans of my videos might know that I'm an admirer of Australian guitarist Rowland S. Howard. I actually looked at one of his songs a little while back, a song Breakdown and Then, and not many people seem to watch that one. Funny. In all seriousness, I don't make these videos to get mega views. I just look at music that I find interesting and exciting, and obviously it's nice if people watch the videos, but that's a secondary consideration. Now, Rowland S. Howard, still perhaps best known for his work with The Birthday Party, which was a band he was in with Nick Cave right at the start of his career, but he's been involved in lots of other bands and projects and collaborations over the years. He put out 2 great solo albums which I think have just been reissued, and this track actually was from 1986 and a track he did with a band called Crime and the City Solution. And if you're a fan of arty films, you might have seen it in Wim Wenders' Wings of Desire, which is a great film, well worth a watch, and this song is on the soundtrack to that film. And you can also actually see the band themselves performing the song in the film in this kind of nightclub scene. I was thinking about how to describe this music, and I'm not exactly sure how to do that, but it's got this great reverb drenched surf style guitar on it. It's a little bit post-punk. It's just got a slightly gothic feeling to this particular track as well. So it's a kind of post-surf goth punk. I was actually inspired to look at another Rowland song after having attended a tribute show at the Royal Festival Hall at the start of this year. It seems like a lifetime ago now, back in the days when you could get together in a room with other people and watch music. Anyway, it's a fantastic track. It's easy to play, my favourite type of song, and I'm going to be taking you through exactly how to play it. And towards the end of the video, I'm also going to be talking a bit about the gear that I'm using today, so keep watching if you're interested in that side of things. Let's begin by looking at the verse part. This is all based on just 2 chords. We've got an E minor and then we've got an A sus2. And to get to an A sus2 from E minor, all you have to do is just move your 2 fingers over to the next pair of strings. A sus2, you could think of it as A minor, but just lifting up your first finger so you've got an open B string in there. And we've got 1 bar on each of these chords, and we're connecting them together with some single notes. So the way I think of it is like this. When you're heading to the E minor, you've got these 4 notes. So we've got E, G, B, E, then we're strumming the E minor chord. to the A sus2, we've got 4 more notes, and it's just slightly different. We've then got, which is E, B, D, and E. So you play that when you're going to the A sus2. So that's the basic idea. I'm just going to talk about the rhythm because that could be potentially a bit tricky, I think. So we've got these single notes and we're playing those on beat 4, and it's 4/16 notes. So 4, E and then we're strumming the chord, and the strum doesn't quite come in the obvious place. It's not on the beat, it's not on the off beat, it's actually on the 2nd 16th note of beat 1. So we've got 4 E and 1 E. So just a little bit of a pause on the beat, and then we're strumming that chord on the 2nd 16th note. So 1, 2, 3, 4 E and 1 E, 2, 3, 4 E and 1 E. So I think if the rhythm doesn't come naturally to you just by listening to the tune, then do count it out like that and just make sure you're playing things correctly. Now, the other really important thing about the way you're playing this riff is use of the vibrato arm. Now I'm grabbing hold of the whammy bar and just keeping hold of it for the entire song, and you want to give it a good wiggle on those long chords. But you can also hear that Rowland is kind of wiggling it on the single notes a little bit as well sometimes. So it's just holding on to that whammy bar the whole time, and you've got that kind of Kevin Shields type wobble throughout the track. Let me put all of that together and play the verse part in time. You've got 2, 3, 4. So we've got just one other main part to this tune, and this is the chorus part, and that starts with a B7 chord, just a normal open position B7, giving that a strum. Then we've got some more single notes. So here we've got a B, D sharp, E, F sharp, G and E. And I think fingering's quite important here if you want to get that smooth. So I'm using 2nd finger, 1st, 3rd finger there, and that leaves my 2nd finger free to come over to the low E string. Then we've got some more chords. We've got the A sus2 going to E minor, and I'm playing this with a down, up, down on the A sus2 and an up on the E minor. And then we're going to a D sus2, which is like a D chord but lift up your 2nd finger. We're strumming that, and then we're just picking out some of the notes in that chord separately. So we've got strings 1, 2, 3, and then the same again. And then we've got that same strum from the A sus2 to the E minor. And finally a nice long B7 chord. So all of the chorus part in time. And that's pretty much it, I think. And just for the sake of completeness, I can hear a couple of little guitar overdubs in there. In the second verse, I'm hearing something like this. So on the top string, we've got the notes E, G, and E. I think that's played by a separate guitar, but you could play that at the same time as playing the verse riff, I think. Something along those lines. And then towards the end of the song, we've got some more single notes. Going something like that. So we've got G to E on the top string. And then we've got E going to A. You could play those notes on the B and the G strings. You could play an open E there. Let me tell you a little bit about the gear that I'm using today. Now, Rowland famously used a white Fender Jaguar. I don't have one of those, so I'm using my Jazzmaster. Now, superficially, I suppose, Jazzmasters and Jaguars seem like very similar guitars, but that's not really the case. They've each got their own kind of character, and I must actually get hold of a Jaguar at some point one of these days. But today I'm using my Jazzmaster. I think it does a pretty good job on this song. This particular Jazzmaster is an American 65 reissue. I can't remember exactly what they call it, but it's one of those. Amp-wise, I wanted something with a bit of twang, so I'm using my Fender Deluxe. I'm using a couple of effects today, and most important effect for this tune is the reverb. Now, my Fender Deluxe actually has a really nice spring reverb built into it, but today I decided to use my Surfy Bear reverb unit, and that's something I go for when the reverb is a real feature of a tune and where you really want some reverb with a bit of drama and character. And this thing is fantastic sounding. It's based on the old Fender outboard reverb unit, and obviously designed to get all of those great vintage surf sounds, but very useful in other types of music as well, I think, and it works particularly well for a song like this. And the only other effect I'm using is a little bit of overdrive from my J Rocket Archer pedal. That's it for this week. Tab backing track up on my Patreon page. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.